Why garden standing up? This is what I asked myself when I had my physical limitations, which I'll get into in a bit. But first, I wanted to increase my physical activity, even though I had limitations. I wanted to be outdoors. I wanted to improve my health. I wanted to get better tasting fruits and vegetables versus what you got in the store with more nutritional factors in them. I wanted the peace of mind that gardening gives you. It's calming. It takes your mind to other places, and time just means nothing. You can be here for 2 hours and not even realize it. And basically, we have been gardeners for thousands of years, and it's in our genes. And you want to rekindle that in your own self. And in these times of cost and inflation, and you want to be able to save money and eat better. So why stand-up gardening? So gardening by itself is great. And if you're gardening, God bless you. But for me, I'm Craig, the stand-up gardener, and I'm a retired engineer and project manager who's had several bouts with cancer and abdominal incisions, surgeries, and I have a incision hernia, which I have to then watch how much I lift. I can only lift 20 pounds or less. I try to go on the less side because I like to keep my insides in, not out. But you physically may have limitations on what you can do. And the demands of gardening at ground level are onerous for a lot of people. I mean, when you see cop shows and they say, get on the ground to the bad guys, there's a reason for that. When you're on the ground, you're helpless. And they cuff you up and they wheel you away. So being on the ground is not our natural state. Our natural state for the increased productivity and to doing things is to be standing, not to be crouching down, not to be lifting, not to be bending. On the ground, you're vulnerable and helpless. When you're standing up, you're in your natural state. And that's the beauty of stand-up gardening. You're exploiting what your body is designed to do, and you're getting all the benefits of it. And this is what I'm going to answer again with this why stand-up gardening. Because there's 5 huge benefits to doing it versus doing it in the traditional way. Traditional way is great. It's got a lot of benefits. Those same benefits of doing gardening in any form are great. But stand-up gardening gives you 5 big things that you're going to want to consider when you start designing your first stand-up garden. The first one is physical, because you're not bending, you're not stretching, you're not doing things that you have to strain your body. You won't feel sore at the end of the day. You won't have aches and pains. You won't be thinking about maybe missing a day. And you're going to be at the point where every day you're going to look forward to going out. It's not going to be a burden. It's not going to be a hassle. You want to get the most out of life. You want to be able to garden as long as possible. I'm already retired, and I'm thinking, how many more years can I do this? Stand-up gardening is going to extend that time period for much longer than if I was crouching and kneeling and lifting and bending and doing all the things that you have to do with traditional gardening. Secondly, I mentioned a little earlier, lower cost versus store-bought. The economics of growing your own pay out, and they pay out more each year as you reuse the things that you may have bought in the first place. So the first year you may have some upfront costs in order to get the pots, in order to get the platforms you may need. But the second year you don't have to buy those because you can reuse all those. Even the seeds that you have to buy the first year, the plants that you grow will generate their own seeds for the next year. So you don't have to buy seeds every year as well. So the first year you can think about as an initial upfront cost, and then the costs go down as the years go on and your experience gets better and better, and you can reuse a lot of your materials as you go forward. So you can live off other people's excess. I've gotten 3 tables that people were just giving away at the end of the garage. You can also go, I had one table that I bought from a hotel that was going out of business, and I snapped that up. They don't look all that great. You're not going to eat off them, so it doesn't really matter that much. A lot of people get rid of garden tables outside because, you know, they want to upgrade their space and get fancier new stuff. And they just want to get rid of the old stuff. So keep your eye out for that, or go to garage sales. You should never have to pay full price for a table. People are always moving things and deciding on new things. So watch out for that. The other thing you have to think about is their seasonality in terms of sales in stores and hardware stores and garden stores and so on, because there is a season for everything, and you want to make sure that you get the sale price for things by watching when things are on sale, because they want to move their product, but they don't want to have it sitting around when it's no longer viable. So you'll see lots of good sales on products as the season starts to progress. In terms of great taste, that's the third thing, is you have to get that 10-second rule for taste. If you think about the farm-to-table craze that has been prevailing for the last 10 or 15 years, the 10-second taste rule is plant to mouth. In 10 seconds, you should be able to go to your plant, pick something up and put it right in your mouth, and the taste is so much better than anything you can ever buy in a store. So enjoy the taste of fresh grown. You didn't even have to wait for the farmer to pick it and transport it, put it on your store, put it on the shelf, and then you buy it there. You think you're getting really fresh. You have not had really fresh produce until you grow it yourself, you pick it, and you eat it right away. It's just way better than anything else you can buy. And of course, you're going to pay more to buy it, quote, farm to table fresh. The fourth benefit you get from stand-up gardening is it's much easier to control pests, because you have the raised, elevated spaces. So crawling things don't bother you anymore. You don't have to worry about slugs and things like that. Things that burrow underground, that come up into your beds. By being off the ground, you eliminate a lot of those kinds of pests. But you also have to think about bigger ones like deer, rabbits, squirrels, birds, things like that. But because you're elevated and you have sides that you can strap structures around to fence them off, and netting you can put over top, and the fact that you can move them around, which I'll get to in my fifth point, you have ways in which you can control pests once you realize that you have an issue. There's also ways to divert their attention to other things, and I'll have a whole video on pest controls and things that I've learned from my experience, because I've had real deer problems, especially in my locations in the front. I got deer wandering up and down the street every day, and they just walk right by my place now because there's nothing there they can get at. So that's great, but they were a real problem, and there's nothing worse than getting a deer eat half your crop in a morning. But you also want to make sure that you get the beneficial insects like bees that have to come in and pollinate your flowers on your peas and on your tomatoes and so on. So you want to make sure that you don't block out everything, so you can't build up, you know, big concrete walls around things. So you have to have sun get in. You have to be able to get the good insects to come in, but you want to stay away from some of the pests that have diseases or eat your leaves, or you know, have issues with laying eggs that then grow, or like, you know, I don't want to scare you with all the things that can happen, but there's all kinds of things that can happen. Mother Nature will always try to expand and multiply and be fruitful. So it does its thing. You have to do your thing. And finally, mobility. Mobility is really important, because the sun changes its altitude and its direction. As you know, the sun is the center of our solar system, and the Earth rotates around, and as it goes, you go from spring to summer to fall, and the position of the sun in the sky changes. But your plants also change in their demands for the sun. Lettuce, for instance, is what they call a cool weather plant. Once it gets too hot, if you plant it in the ground, you can't take it and move it somewhere else. Whereas if it's in a pot, you can move it to a shady place. You can move it into some place cool that allows it to then prosper longer than if you had a fixed location in the ground. So mobility also helps with moving plants that like to be together, and to experiment and try new things. You may have a location that you didn't think things would grow, but by trying it out, you may be pleasantly surprised. I've had that happen where I put a place that only had maybe 3 hours of sun a day, but I put some strawberry plants there and they loved it. So you never know until you try it out. But it's really easy with the tables and the shelves and the pots to try things out in different locations. And if it doesn't work, you can tell pretty much right away, and then you can move it somewhere else. So the mobility thing is a real big factor that you don't get with traditional gardening. I also have a 2026 garden planner and calendar for stand-up gardening, which has my project management expertise in here. I've created for each month a calendar where you have the same calendar on both pages. One is what you're going to plan, and then this is your actuals, so you can compare. I was going to plant my peas here, and I waited a week and I planted them here, whatever. You can look at all the decisions you've made over time. I've also got a place for lessons learned. I have a thing in the back here for a journal, and I also have a thing in the back for summarizing which plants did really well. And that's available on Amazon. I've been using this for 5-6 years now, and it's probably one of the best things I've done, because I can look back onto all my years and figure out what worked, what didn't work. And I also write in there lessons learned and what I would do next year if I was going to do this again. It's really important to make sure that you take care to record everything you've done, from your initial ideas to progress as you execute your gardening plan, and then your final step where you're actually harvesting and measuring your bounty, seeing what worked, what didn't work, and what you would do differently the next year, so that you have it all recorded. And then as you get a library of these from year over year, you really learn more about yourself, as well as you learn about your space, and you learn about how you can optimize, keep your costs down, increase the productivity of your harvest, and minimize the effort it requires in order to make it all work. And that's what stand-up gardening is all about. So welcome, and I look forward to having more videos to explain in greater detail all of the points that I've kind of just touched on now. Thanks very much.